I know I say Generation 4 a lot in this video, but I mostly mean Diamond and Pearl. If I'm referring to Platinum, I'll separately mention it. This will be a relatively controversial video, and I originally got the idea for it from a couple of friends as we were arguing about the games and their inevitable remakes. I think that 4th gen, specifically Diamond and Pearl, the others aren't as bad, are the worst in the franchise, and today I'm listing the reasons as to why I disdain these games so much. Well, to get right to the point, the engine. I really dislike the engine these games use. Like, you may be thinking, this is a really bad point. However, the battle system, the walking system, the entire movement in this game is flawed. I picked up Pokemon Pearl for the making of this video, and while playing, I was astonished by how utterly slow these games are. On average, it takes about 41 hours to beat these games if you're going at a medium pace. Now, compare this to the games which came out after them, Pokemon Black and White, which take about 32 hours. I reckon that the shoddy battle engine added on an extra 9 hours. Now, you're welcome to disagree. However, I have conducted research to make my theory fact. Observe. What the fuck? I know that this is a very niche example of how slow the battle system is. However, just have a wee backup point. There's a really weird delay between you getting hit by an attack and actually taking damage. I'll show it here. See, this is definitely a nitpick, but it's still a significant part of the game. Battling is the entire point of the game. Like, if I was complaining about something really specific like Route 216, hey, that's a good idea! There's this big ass route which is painstakingly slow. It's a normal snow route, until you get to the point where you get deep in the snow. At that point, it's hell! The only comparison I can possibly draw is the snow route in Pokemon X and Y, where you're riding a Mamoswine, but there's a difference here. In one you're riding a Mamoswine, and in the other you're just in deep snow. There's not really an actual reason for it being this slow, it's just really slow. There's also other routes which are somewhat annoying in this game, such as the swamp route which makes you go really slow, but this is just if you aren't looking at where you're going, so it's not as bad. I would argue that the Sinnoh map in this game is another reason as to why these games aren't good. Mount Coronet is the central point in the game, which is ultimately where the climax of the game takes place. Okay, so I know it's like a bit of a side point, but I think Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were the start of a really weird trend for Game Freak, where they'd have really weird barricades. For example, in Diamond and Pearl you had the infamous Psyduck. It's such a dumb barricade, like what the fuck. And then secondly, you had that guy at Sunny Shore. When I was younger, like just being anecdotal, I could not get past him at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was the sole reason as to why I stopped playing Diamond and Pearl when I was younger, and I never really got back into it till I was older. Because I remember typing up tutorials, and I don't know why this isn't talked more about in the fandom, because talking to a couple of friends, they've all experienced the exact same issue. That guy at Sunny Shore, blocking off Sunny Shore, is a pain in the backside. But back to the map point, I think the map in these games are somewhat annoying, as there are several points in the story where you need to traverse through a fucking mountain, an annoying ass route, and use HMs. Speaking of which, the HMs in the Pokemon franchise are like an ancient evil. They are prevalent in every generation prior to Generation 7, however after Generation 5 there was a decrease in how much they were needed, mostly being used for extra side things. However, prior to that, Generation 4 was the peak. To get through Victory Road, you needed 5 HMs. 5. That's over one Pokemon dedicated to HMs. Moving over to the Pokemon of these games, in Diamond and Pearl there's 151, which is a cute wee reference to the original games, but in this 151, there's 5 Fire-type Pokemon. 5. And 3 of those are starters. For comparison's sake, I counted up the amount of Water-type Pokemon and Grass-type Pokemon, and I counted up 34 Water types, 12 Grass types, and the previously mentioned 5 Fire types.
Why is the selection in these games so awful? Now to be fair, the amount of Pokemon on Pokemon Platinum was increased to 207, and with that the amount of fire type Pokemon increased to 11, which is much better in terms of diversity, as, you know, 21% of the Pokedex isn't water type. I've seen people use the excuse that the region is cold, thus making it valid for there to be little to no fire types. However, I disagree heavily, as if you're going by that, Kalos, which is a relatively cold region, has 24 fire types. A really funny side thing is that Flint of the Elite Four can't even have a team of fire type Pokemon, so he opts to have a Drifblim, Steelix and a Lopunny. But getting back to topic, speaking of Pokemon selection, they're kind of lopsided. Like, in the first few routes, you could potentially have half of your team. Of course, those Pokemon being your starter, Starly, and Shinx. Like, most of the teams I've saw from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum have these three as a core. It's a really small nitpick, but they should have saved Shinx for later on in the game so it wouldn't be on everyone's team. That's a really small critique though. I can't really criticize people for using the exact same Pokemon. Hey, but I'll give it a go anyways. I'm going to predict the team you use in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Okay guys. Starter, Staraptor, Luxray, Garchomp, Lucario. Crap, I ran out of fan favourites. Speaking of which, I will give credit where it's due. Gen 4 has some fire Pokemon designs, and I'm not just talking about Infernape. My personal favourites of which being the Buizelline and the Krogunk line. Speaking of design,
now while I can say that Generation 4 has got really good Pokemon designs, I can also say that Generation 4 has some terrible designs. Examples that come to mind are the entire Glameow line, some of the baby Pokemon like Happiny, and what even is Bronzer? You've also got that Pokemon, Hippopotamus, and then you've got Kricketune and Kricketot, which are by far my least favourite Pokemon. Another honourable mention is Cherim, because he doesn't even do anything.
The trainer designs in these games are straight up trash. Barely any of these characters are memorable. Like, I cannot name any of the Elite Four members, not only because they're terrible and forgettable inclusions, but the lack of personality and good designs. See, you could say that I named Flint earlier on, but I had to actually do research because I forgot his name. Generation 5 made up for this, of course, by including the gym leaders directly into the story and shrouding the Elite Four with mystery. Speaking of design, Team Galactic have such a dumb design. Why is their hair like that? The story in these games is what many people would consider to be one of the best in the franchise. I heavily disagree, however. I like some of the aspects in the story, but Team Galactic shouldn't be praised for their goals. In case you don't know, Team Galactic's goals are to destroy the universe and reshape it in Cyrus's image, which was unique at the time, but it falls victim to the many problems of the Pokemon games, which is basically the evil team destroying the universe. I don't know about you, but that's such a gargantuan and grandiose story for a game which has a 10-year-old protagonist. Remember the memes which have 10-year-old captures God? Yeah, a 10-year-old can capture God. This trend has made me appreciate the stories of the recent games so much more. I appreciate Team Skull so much because they aren't trying to take over the world. They leave the much more destructive stuff to the Aether Foundation.
Okay, right, so I think it's kind of fair and it's kind of necessary to kind of speak on the other games in Gen 4 that I've not mentioned so far. Those of course being Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I played through Heart Gold and Soul Silver when I was younger and I really enjoyed those games. I do think Gen 2 or Johto is a bit overrated, and I could possibly elaborate on that in the future. However, I did like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I did think they did fantastic jobs of being remakes. But yeah, fundamentally, it doesn't really make up for the atrocity which is Generation 4, which is mostly containing Sinnoh games. To be honest, I've kind of got like a massive hate boner for Sinnoh, so
I've run out of points. Well, in conclusion, the many problems of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are sort of fixed with Pokemon Platinum. The Pokemon selection was broadened significantly, the team composition is sort of fixed from that alone. However, there are still glaring problems with the battle system and the game just being overall really slow. Even the intro is slow. It took me about an hour just to get to the first gym leader. Well, I can't see why people like Generation 4. On one hand, Mount Coronet is a fucking pain. However, it's quite atmospheric as you're scaling a mountain. Not to mention, the music is also fantastic. The music in Generation 4 is also really good. I can't wait for the remix to fix the lackluster DS sound font so I can listen to the Mount Coronet with actual instruments. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe, I really appreciate it. Here's a few more videos if you want to watch those.